welcome to IHI's Global Certification Program for Hospitality Leaders. IHI's certification will help you stand out and elevate your career. Whether you are a high-powered executive or an up-and-coming leader, your certification will announce to the world that you are equipped with the skills needed to be successful in the 21st century hospitality industry. Good luck.
Welcome to the panel. Hello, my name is Paula, and I'm honored to be here as the moderator of this panel. Our panel will discuss how hospitality companies can use technology to improve their operations. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and welcome again. I'm going to start by asking the members of the panel to introduce themselves really quickly. In alphabetical order, I will start with AJ Aluri, founding director at HIT Lab at West Virginia University. So hello, AJ, welcome. And can you tell us briefly about your background, please?
Hi, Paula. Hi, everyone. Hi, panel. Thank you all for attending here. It's so exciting to see everyone here. My name is AJ Aluri. I'm the founding director of the Hospitality Innovation and Technology Lab. The reason we call it HIT because we know it's going to be HIT. So that's why we call it a HIT lab. So, but also I'm an associate professor in John Chambers College of Business Economics. One thing that differentiates our lab than other lab is the Hospitality Innovation Lab is a lab with multidisciplinary students. We do have students from computer science, engineering, design, and of course, MIS, marketing, and hospitality as well. So that makes our lab so different than a lot of the other hospitality labs in the country.
Great, thank you again, AJ, and welcome. I love the explanation of the name. Next is Iñigo Capell. I tried to practice your name, Iñigo. I know I tried. He's an Executive Vice President and Global Chief Resources Officer at Radisson Hotel Group. So welcome, Iñigo, and can you introduce yourself, please, to the audience as well?
Thank you, Paula. You pronounce it really well. I'm Iñigo Capell. I'm Spanish. I live in Brussels, and I lead resources at Radisson Hotel Group globally. And as you all of you know, we're a big hotel company. We are ranked number 9 in the world, and we're present we have 1,400 hotels in more than 100 countries across the globe.
Great, thank you so much, Iñigo, for being here. And Patel is next. He's the chairman and CEO of EV Hotel Group and EV Human. Nice to have you here, Ken. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, please?
Yeah, 25 years in the hospitality. This is actually my 25th year in the industry. Have my MBA from Emirates Academy in Dubai. Chairman, founder of EV Hotel, right back there. The first one to open in downtown Phoenix, December 2022. So we're excited for that. We got about 9 more locations coming up. Got about 12 internationally. So it's very exciting times right now at AV Hotel. Looking forward to it. You know, we're not up to Radisson's par yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I follow you on LinkedIn, I follow all of you, and I can see the news coming. So congratulations already of the project. And last but not least, let me just say very quickly, like I said, my name is Paula. I'm not going to even try my last name because it's Carreirão, so no one will know how to pronounce it. I'm a former hotelier with a bachelor's degree in psychology. I worked in the hospitality industry for 10 years now, and I'm a content coordinator at Asksuite, a global hotel tech company. I'm also the host of the podcast Hotelcast and the webinar series Hotelcast TV. Yeah, you can all find me on LinkedIn if you want to chat. I love to chat, so please connect. Let's start with the questions right away because we do have a lot of questions, a lot of knowledge, and a limited time. So I'm going to start with you, AJ. What lessons has COVID-19 taught our industry about how to use technology?
Thank you, Paula. So first thing first, I want to just share a few personal insights. We are still in this global pandemic, and if you look at more than 5 million people passed away during the pandemic. I was at a hotel in a business trip, and then one of the front desk was like, wow, I'm glad things are going back to normal. And I was like, you know what, never think about your guests that way, because you never know what families and individuals have gone through during COVID. And I think that is the first thing that we need to realize, that we are still in this global pandemic. That is the first thing. We need to understand where our guests are coming from, what they have suffered or gone through, lost their loved ones. And that is the important as a hospitality industry. And at the same time, there is a recurring theme across all the presentations today, which is technology, right? But here is my philosophy of technology. I think if you look at, I do a lot of my research on high tech versus high touch, where high touch is predominantly what we are all about, taking care of a guest, interacting with them face to face, and then what's our mission and what's our values are, right? To take care of our guests during their stay. At the same time, we have that high tech framework, the framework where we use technology as an enabler company to make sure we do our best of taking care of our customers. So my philosophy is everything what you're going to build in our industry needs to be on a high touch platform and a foundation. If you have a great culture for your high touch, you should be able to really create a high tech on top of it, right? Imagine, technology is only good when it works, and you need to know your employees how to deal with things without technology as well. Predominantly that is where our industry, people look at your service, people look at how good your people are in terms of culture. But in our WU Hit Lab, what we have done recently was, we were doing a lot of innovative projects. We were doing a kiosk. We had a client. They were interested in investing in the idea. This was a kiosk where you don't need Wi-Fi or any network to transfer the data between a kiosk and a mobile phone, which is really cool. When we did that, we won a couple of awards on the ideation part. And suddenly COVID hit and we couldn't do anything with it, because the resort, they came back and they said, we won't be able to use kiosks now because of secondary surface transmission at that point, right? But in the first wave, people are scared about doing it. But in the second wave, we realized that, surface transmission is predominantly not the reason why you get COVID. It's the droplets and so on and so forth. But we went back to the basics and then we did other projects. But here is the framework we really believe in. What we suggested in the lab was what we call the framework is sit and leap. While we are sitting in the Zoom, we're sitting in this virtual environment pretty much, doing remote work and so on and so forth. I think, the SIT, S-I-T, is basically stands for the shift in the economy. When you have this shift in consumer trends, in how people, perceive, purchase things, these trends. But now with COVID, we know safety is the important thing. Safety is one shift in the trend, but also sustainability. We're talking sustainability as well. But whatever is the shift that you come across in the future, I think that is the one you need to really identify what people are looking for. COVID has taught us safety is going to be the most important thing now and also in the future, right? When it comes to it's the innovation part of it. I like the way, the keynote speaker today actually talked about micro innovation as well, which should happen on an everyday basis. And again, innovation need not be technology all the time. It can be a non-technology as well. So innovation is so important, but also entrepreneurship is also important. Being innovative and starting new things as an entrepreneur, as a company, is going to be the most important thing, and that should happen on a regular basis. And when I talk about T, I think technology is absolutely what is the key here, but also non-technology sometimes, because when you look at high touch versus high tech, you need to build the high touch culture during the pandemic when it comes to safety, but also use the right devices, applications, or technology itself to solve your issues, challenges that you have. And the leap is basically a platform where we talked about jump or transform to with a greater force. You need to leap from where you sit. If you understand these frameworks better, you need to be able to leap. Where L stands for learning the everyday learning, the consumer behavior on a regular basis as part of your operation, right? And then that is where when it comes to E, we wanted it to be an easy and simple. A micro and simple solutions that you can introduce. E stands for ease, how easy it is for you to implement these things on a regular basis. And then A stands for act. If you do great marketing, that your operations is safe and things like that are safe, and if you're not acting on them or activating them, then you're not doing it right. So you want to activate those operations, test and implement them at the same time. Make sure you have a easy solution, easy way to implement it, but also act on it. And the last one starts, P stands for the process. Again, the existing processes maybe, or it may be new processes. You need to be able to introduce those new processes and plan to achieve your operational efficiency. And again, you go back to, again, if you don't get that right, your process is not right, go back to, again, the SIT framework and get that right so that you can leap. So that's a framework we used, and we were very successful in some of the things we did. We have one startup that came out of COVID. We have one more startup in the works. We have 2 design patents we did during COVID. We have few other patents on the works. So again, never stop your innovation. And I think that's what we learned during COVID. And if you use a framework, again, this framework may not be applied to everybody, but again, depending on how big you are, how small your operations is, it's important to have your own framework on trying to understand what's going on a regular basis and able to leap and, achieve excellence, greater heights to leap framework.
Oh, that's very great points, AJ. Thank you so much. And you were talking about transformation, so I'm going to get to the second question, which goes to Ken. Ken, what do you think then that hospitality companies should be doing and that they are not currently doing yet?
I think they're not looking at all the processes. I think we're looking at a bigger component line rather than look at all the component lines. Where it happens is we're so focused right now on contactless check-in. That's where we're all driving the focus. Then we forget, if you break the contactless check-in down, there's almost 10 more components to that. So we're just not, the focus isn't big. We have to understand we're a very heavy task-driven system here. Hospitality is a very heavy task-driven system. We have to focus more on how do we lessen those tasks. And that's where I think we kind of need to strive better. We have to become more non-traditional. Right now, we're very traditional. It has to change. We have to evolve like the tech industry. The tech industry has always found a way how to evolve every 2 years. Their lifelines are always 2.5 years. The auto industry is about 10 years. We've seen the airline industry. We just saw recently what Delta's done. They became very innovative. So we have to find a way, how do we get, and when we have these tech companies, they've really never been in hospitality. So they have to bring in consultants. The consultants are the ones who are obviously advising all the companies and other people on what they need to do. We need more of the internal occurrence, right? One of the things that we even do at EB is I write everything up. I personally write everything up, and that includes even the tipster that's in our software. I focused on guests always leaving cash. So our tipster has the digital wallet, cryptocurrency, I mean, all of these different things, right? So that's just one part of the component. How do we solve the operational deficiencies? So, I mean, if I had to just lay it down on one thing, there's not one thing, and that's why we have the exposure that we have, is because people understood how much we dissected it.
Nice. Very interesting, Ken, the way you approach these innovations. And that leads to also to the next question. That's Iñigo. In what areas do you think that hospitality companies need great technology the most? Is it operations, sales, or where?
Thank you, Paula. First, I think the answer is across all areas, probably more on operational sales, but definitely across all areas. As AJ said, I think during these last 2 years, lockdown has accelerated everything. Okay, this is the biggest crisis the hospitality industry has ever faced globally, at least the biggest we remember, and we all had to reinvent ourselves. And this has accelerated the digitalization process that all companies were going through. I think we cannot hide, and as Ken said, the elephant in the room. And every year, Harvard Business Review makes a ranking of how digitalized all industries are. And they have 22 industries. And you know what? We don't lead this ranking. Actually, there are only 2 industries that are behind us. And we're talking about agriculture and hunting and construction. Okay? All other industries are behind this. So this shows that there's a massive opportunity in the hospitality industry. And I have to say that this is due to many reasons, and that's my personal view. Probably the business model among hotel groups, having franchised hotels, managed properties, and in many parts in the globe, leased properties, doesn't facilitate having integrated solid IT strategies. Having said this, I think that technology and the digitalization of all processes has become core of all companies. The landscape doesn't help. Okay, we have the GDS, the OTAs, each of them have different booking funnels. It's very difficult to identify the customer behind the guest, okay? And our point of view at Radisson is, and again, this is our point of view, okay, that I'm sure will differ from other companies, but first, this is in the core of everything we do, okay? So this is going to transform all areas in companies. And if you look at the 5-year plan in the company that we're going through, I mean, there's not a single area that where technology is not affecting everything, okay? But I think as company, you need to take choices. Our choice, if you have to choose between flexibility, personalization, or automatization and standardization at the same time, personalization, we took this, okay? This choice. If you need to have scale, you're going to have scale, you need to automatize and you need to standardize, okay? So our vision is a scalable system, consistent systems across the globe, okay? Integrated systems, okay? End-to-end across all processes, okay? And understanding the consumer, understanding the employee, our collaborators, understanding of end-to-end across all processes, and investing a big piece of your P&L every year on technology. That's our vision. And answering your question, operations and sales probably is where we see the biggest opportunities.
Right, great. Iñigo, I remember now a webinar I did back, I don't know, some time ago, and they were saying that innovation is not innovation if it's not integrated. And I think that's it. I think you and Ken, everybody was talking about it. And I think what it's lacking a little bit is we all talking about how traditional the industry is, and I'm quite impressed with the numbers that Ken said about the hotel tech companies, and you too, about the innovations and all that. And I think that many hoteliers, especially, well, it depends on the countries, of course, but we see a lot here in South America, where I can say more properly, they don't understand the real value of technology. And I think that's one of the main thing is the drive efficiency, that it's the panel topic here. And I think I like to, when I talk to them, I always remember, and I'm going to just say here, that's a real quick example, so we go to the next one. But I remember being a reservation agent and having to answer text messaging, emails, and managing all these different channels that you were talking to, Iñigo, and that's simply impossible. And when you think about automation and you talk about technology and improving efficiency, you're not only talking about the hotelier perspective, which is, I think, the main one, but guests also, because they take benefit of it. Because if the hotelier have more time to focus on, it's a simple math for me. If you have more time to focus on the guest, because you have the technology to help you, then guest experience, it increases, right? So I don't think they can see the whole chain sometimes. I think they get stuck in the how much money will cost and how the operation will change, and people don't like change much. So, and then they stop there. So I think that's, I don't know, that's my opinion. I think that's a lot about we as leaders trying to educate and show all the benefits and show more practical, you know, how this help you. So this goes to the next question, AJ. What do you think about AI technology? AI technology is something that many hoteliers still think that it's out of this world. It's not something that they are really familiar. So what do you think about AI technology for the hospitality industry?
Thank you, Paula. Absolutely. So let me take you back a little bit with, when I was a student in computer science and information technology, we used to call this computational machinery and intelligence, right? And eventually, obviously, artificial intelligence became more of a buzzword later on. But I do actually like the computational machinery and intelligence as a word, because it's most of it is computational, and a lot of people think when it comes to AI, they automatically think it's like a hard AI. Hard AI is basically a AI that can replace a human completely, right? But actually speaking, there is within AI, there is a hard AI and soft AI, and people talk it differently. I mean, there are different terms to it. Some people say narrow and strong AI, but the common terms is artificial general intelligence, but also artificial narrow intelligence. So narrow intelligence is basically the soft AI, which is something that we are seeing on an everyday basis. There are not many great examples of hard AI, which you see in sci-fi movies, where AI can take over a human completely and have a equivalent of a human intelligence. I mean, it's not there in real life yet. So it's hard to really quantify and compare AI in the sense like from a coding standpoint, right? From a computational standpoint. However, you can actually look at level of automation and the automation it produces, and you can observe and compare automation in order to know how good the AI is. So they're basically 0 to 5 levels of automation, right? 0 being no automation, 5 being fully automated and never require a human intervention whatsoever, right? We did a study in the HIT lab, and we explored all the progression of automation and AI in the hospitality industry. And we came up with a conclusion that our industry is at level 3, which is basically a semi-autonomous. So we're in the middle of the automation, right? Across all the innovation that's happening in our industry. The reason being that our industry is, predominantly depend on what we call as the plan, build, and run model. We plan based on feasibility studies. We plan based on location, demand and forecast, and so on and so forth. We build based on a brand or independent or boutique and things like that, and we run with the technology that's required to run the operations, right? But what COVID has taught us is you cannot just be the PBR, the plan, build, run model. You have to really have a model where you can do micro innovations, but also entrepreneurship as well. And sometimes there is no budget and no room for that in our industry. If you look at during the pandemic, research shows that digital innovations in the businesses have gone up 7 years during the pandemic. Among consumers, it went up 3 years ahead. So usually it takes 3 years to adopt to this technology happened just during 2020. So what we're learning that is AI is going to be very important. But if you look at the subsets of AI, there's also machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, there's IoTs, there is robotics, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to AI applications, my suggestion for hospitality industry is we need to ride on others' innovation curve. And I think Ken is absolutely right. We're living in the age of tech giants, right? If you look at 2005, the top 10 companies, according to their market cap, included oil, energy, finance, physical distribution, a lot of health, and one tech company. But today in 2021, if you look at the top 10 companies based on their market cap, 9 out of 10 are tech, and only one oil and energy company. So a lot has changed in just recently. And the COVID has taught us that we should be able to ride on others' innovative curve. Again, we need to stick to our mission and values. And if you're not doing right, if you have challenges during COVID, reevaluate your mission and vision. But at the end of the day, be that high-touch foundation and build your high-tech framework. And if you don't have a clear high-tech framework, which is technology and innovation, then you're not going to succeed in the future, right? So give you a quick example of what we did. A few years ago, I partnered with one of my colleagues in the MIS department. And one of his existing projects was to use machine learning. We did sign an NDA with a company. I cannot share the details of this client. However, what we did was we used ML, which is machine learning, to actually look at their existing loyalty. And what we did was we were able to co-create value through dynamic customer engagement in their brand loyalty program. We looked at the historical data, 1 year, first year. Second year, we implemented our machine learning, and we increased their loyalty based on co-creating the value for the members. So in the pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, we did a service robot project. We also did a project with IoT, with the cloud network in restaurant industry. But what we learned is, what we're learning is that we had challenges all the time. Our industry is not there. In a full service hotel, we had issues with Wi-Fi, we had issues with internet, we had issues with processes. They don't have a clear process on how to create value. We have to reevaluate all of that. A framework that we need to build within the hotel to use a technology, use a service robot in a concierge in the front desk, right? Same thing with the, IoT project. We did an awesome job, showed the proof of concept that it works, and restaurants don't want to invest in that idea, because they're looking at short term than long term. So having said that, there are great opportunities for AI, and you don't need to be that expert. You don't need to be that individual where you have to know everything, but you can focus on, using somebody else's innovation and partner with them.
Nice, AJ. Again, great points and a lot to think about. And I think you mentioned there, Ken, I'm going to call again Ken to the discussion, because Ken, we were talking here about this showing the value of technology and all that. And I want to know also too, what has been your personal experience with the using technology in hospitality? I mean, you've been in the industry for a few decades that you share with us. How do you see it's a personal experience?
I mean, I've always had the love of technology. I've been implementing technology in hospitality since 2014. I mean, when I was the CEO in New York City for 7 years with that company. So it's something where I've believed in the automation. I've been in crypto since 2013, in Bitcoin since $140. So I've always thought of, how do we deliver? And when I look at automation, I tell people about technology. There's two different ways we look at technology. It's utilization and automation. It's how do we utilize it and what do we do with it? And how do we actually make our life easier? And those are two different technologies that when I look at it, right? So when I speak about technology, it's sometimes people are not understanding. We're just thinking technology as it's taking jobs away, right? Technology is not supposed to take jobs away. Technology is supposed to help us in every simple asset of our life and help, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's helping our dog or our cat, whatever it might be. But it's the way we have it in the industry right now. We don't have the correct way of technology, whether we're looking at PMSs, whether we're looking at software technologies, whether we're looking at digital locks. It's just all of these things have to be streamlined better. We need better technology. We need the absolute best technology that's out there, and we don't have that, and that is what I'm doing, trying to revolutionize this industry so we understand why hospitality and technology. My good friend is the CEO of Airbnb. We usually have a chat every few weeks, and we talk about technology. We talk about how do we deliver that technology so it's for the employees, for the guest, for the hotelier. Okay, so this is what I mean with technology in the industry. I've seen it change so much. It hasn't changed in the way, and we talk about traditional, right? Mostly all hotels operate with Opera. Opera has been around for years. Now, I'm not going to say every single brand, every single hotel operates with Opera, but most of these PMSs, they haven't evolved. They haven't streamlined anything. So, that's kind of what we mean. That's the kind of technology we currently have, and I know it's going to change. I'm the person where I don't find anybody to be a competitor. I find all of us to follow the thing that what I'm trying to do here is let's revolutionize this industry so it's better for everybody, where it kind of takes us into the future,
I love what you said, Ken, for many reasons. One of them about integration and how we think about technology. Even us, I'm a hotel tech vendor, and we do strive to have more and more integrations with different solutions, because again, otherwise it doesn't help as much as it should. Quite the contrary, it makes it even more messy. And another point that you said, and I totally agree, is that it's not to replace. I think this still have this fantasy or goal, so I don't know how to call it, in that technology will take away jobs, and it's not that. It's just to make us perform better. It's to help us. Go, please.
I think too many people watch the Jetsons cartoon and the Will
I
Smith
did.
movie, iRobot. So I think they will learn.
Yeah.
I think as we see more companies getting on the stock market, IPOs, SPACs, all of this stuff, it's a lot of the technology companies. It's because we have so much technology out there, so many apps that we don't even know about, and this is all supposed to help us in a way. And
True.
I mean, I try to find any technology that's going to help me through my daily grind. So, I mean, that's kind of what I would advise everybody kind of look at technology and how it's going to help you.
Yeah, and just to finish and going to Iñigo, but yeah, I think that we use that. I think it's amazing how people split in they divide in their mind, because the use in your daily, you have a daily use of technology. I can't live without Uber or iFood. I don't cook, so yeah, I use Netflix and everything. But for some people, when you put it in the hotel industry, then it's a different story. So we go to the next question to Iñigo. If you had one recommendation, that's a tough one, for the industry relating to technology, what would it be?
It's very difficult, thank you, Paula, to come with one recommendation, but I would like to share two thoughts, okay? First, traditionally, the hospitality business in big hotel groups has been very much focused on the top line. I have a great brand, I have great standards, I have a great loyalty program, therefore I can bring revenues to your hotel, and therefore I will ask you to franchise it or to manage my property, okay? And this is how this industry has worked in the last years, okay? I think today this is not enough. Today, more hotels need something that goes to the P&L, to the EBITDA of the company. So I think that the opportunity is there, and now owners ask from hotel companies to bring this value, okay, that goes beyond the top line, okay. And secondly, I remember I started working in 1995 as a trainee for a US company in Spain, Hewlett Packard, and at that time, and I think those of you that can remember, 1995. People didn't have a mobile, and was definitely not a smartphone. Some people, I had a computer at home, but not so many people had a computer at home. And my first email address was at this place. At that time, technology in companies was much more advanced than what you could find in society. Today, I think that the technology we use in our day-to-day is much more advanced to what we can find in companies. Okay, so the speed. So I think that, and especially in the hospitality industry. So as Ken said, I don't want to talk about PMS suppliers, but it is reality. If you look at how PMS work today and how they worked 20 years ago, how much have these systems evolved? Okay, so there's a massive opportunity. So the only recommendation I would make is this is not an IT responsibility. Okay, I would not like to stereotype, but for whatever reason, some CIOs are risk averse. Okay, I don't want to take big risks because I don't want to be in trouble when things don't work. No, this is a very painful process, but you need to change. Because if you don't change, and change is painful. I mean, we're in the middle of this process. I'm not a CIO, I oversee IT, but I have a CIO that is doing a great job. And we are on a daily basis having painful incidents, okay? Because change is painful, but you need to go through, if you need to have the right platform to be able to differentiate yourself and to add this value. So the tip would be brave, take risk, and have a clear and structured vision. And last, do this, and at the same time, avoid building a Frankenstein. Okay, and this is our vision. Okay, you need to have because the television is everywhere, and you have the risk of connecting so many things that then don't speak to each other, data doesn't move, and then you have built a Frankenstein. So you need to have a very clear vision, okay, and take risks.
I love that, Iñigo, and I think it was the last panel I was watching a little bit, and they were talking about, as you're saying, that to be brave and to embrace change instead of fighting against it. And I think we get too comfortable. We as human beings, we feel safe, we still feel comfortable, and then we keep doing. But if we keep doing the same things, we keep having the same problems and the same results. So it's not really wise. I think we're heading to the end of the panel. Unfortunately, I personally wish I had much more time with all of three of you, because you do have a lot to share, and I'm learning already. But unfortunately, we do have a limited time. So before we say goodbye, I would let you say your final thoughts, maybe something that you want us that we haven't said yet about technology and hospitality industry. So AJ, I start with you. First of all, thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us all these great studies that you do and all this investment you do in technology and knowledge, sharing knowledge with the industry. So thank you. Any final thoughts? People can contact you, how? Anything?
Sure, Paula, absolutely. First of all, thank you all for attending, and appreciate the opportunity with IHI and Global Hospitality Summit for having me here. One of the challenges we have in our industry, I agree with Ken and Iñigo. We are all in silos. Most of our technology systems are in silos. We are doing a project on ML, trying to integrate some of the data that's there, the big data that's there in a management company. And we couldn't do it. We could do it because part of it is with the brand-related data. There is management companies' data. There is data that you cannot do because of privacy. Again, we couldn't really achieve any of that. And I felt like, oh boy, if we are in the silos and not able to connect the dots, and if you cannot integrate, how are we going to personalize experiences for our guests, right? And forget about doing a research project. I mean, doing internally an entrepreneurship or doing something new within the organization, that's not going to happen because you're limited by these silos and you're only seeing one piece of the, information trying to do things. You're not seeing the other side of it. Look at the tech companies. They integrate information, but they also orchestrate how things need to work. Cloud versus in-house. How things need to work. They orchestrate that very well. In our industry, I think the bigger piece for us is we need to integrate, but also able to orchestrate how we use our devices, applications, and technologies at different level. If you're looking at one piece of functionality and features, you should be able to see the other side of it through the silos. I mean, don't get me wrong, we are a traditional company and we have silos, but I think we need to transform the way we see that information. And I do like what Ken is doing with Hospitality 360, and we need that 360, across the board. We cannot just do 90% of the angle of the silos and say, hey, I want to do something here, not seeing the other side. So thank you all. If I have opportunity, happy to answer any other questions from the audience, but that's pretty much it, Paula. Yep.
Thank you so much, AJ. So I go to Ken now. Please, if you could just share final thoughts and also any contact information you want to share with the audience as well, please.
Sure. You said it myself, right? Yeah, I mean, my vision in this industry, I mean, obviously, I want to thank IHI, Dr. Jeffrey, and, I'm obviously on the board as well. And, thank you for all the support, for just trying to believe in the EV brand as well. And I mean, it's finally here. 3 years of my vision and 3 years of all the hard work with our board members and even our executive team, all the partnerships we have, crazy partnerships, public companies. I mean, it's a dream come true. Big believer in crypto. So one of the biggest things in our brand is the crypto piece, and it's way more than just payments. It includes the NFTs, star renowned, TV star, chef, that's our F&B concept. So all of these things, never in my wildest dream. I think when I was doing my internship at the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, I said, I'll own that one day. I still am not owning that one day, but this will be pretty close to it. So, the industry is great. Growing up with no money, parents didn't have a lot, so started at 15 years old and started as a front desk agent, and here I am. So, I'm just very thankful for this industry for making me who I am, and obviously being in front of this great panel as well. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Ken. And I have to say, here in Brazil, it's a lot of going on about crypto, because people here do not understand anything. I'm one that I would like a lesson or two about it. They are investing a lot here.
It's funny you say that too, because South America, we get a lot of exposure. They don't know the technology, but they want the crypto. So they love the crypto. So
that's great. Thank you so much, Ken. And finally, Iñigo, if you can just say some final thoughts, final words. It means so dramatic. So no final thoughts. And please go ahead.
Thank you, Paula. No questions of time. Thank you, IHI. Thank you, Dr. Jeffrey, Paula, Ken, AJ. I really enjoyed the panel. Amazing panel. Great perspectives. Now, the only thought is that I already shared the main points, but I think that technology and digitalization is no more an IT responsibility. It has to start by the CEO, has to start by the being change agents, and has to be in everything what we do. And if the CEO doesn't embrace this, I think companies have to change the CEO, okay? Because there's no choice. And you will need to compete in the world. You need to constant, and then something that is going to be a constant during the coming years. You need to be constantly reviewing, adapting, and the technology is there, and you have to make technology work for you. So I think the journey where companies are moving through, and especially this industry, again, we only have 2 industries behind us. So we have a great opportunity as an industry. And I have friends working in consumer goods, and they always say, guys, you know, your guests sleep in your outlets. I mean, the amount of information you have, you can do amazing things. It's a amount of putting the teams and thinking a smart way about what to do. So thank you again. I really enjoyed Paula, AJ, and Ken meeting you, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Iñigo. Thanks everybody for watching this panel. Just bring our session to a close. I want to personally thanks a lot. Say a big thank you for the Institute, the Hospitality Institute, for having me as a moderator. It was an honor, and I'm very humbled to be here with these superstars. And like I said, and I mean it, I'm learning a lot. I love this energy of everybody helping the industry and trying together to find solutions. So I love that. So thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. And I hope everybody that's watching us enjoyed the rest of the summit. So see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paula. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Niho.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ladies.